Hi, Frank Casal here. Welcome to the first annual Automation Innovation Conference. Things are going very well. As you can hear by the chatter in the background, there's a lot of people here and many discussions. I'm joined to my right by Chip Wagner, who heads up the advisory firm Allsbridge, and is also my co-pilot here today, a co-captain, if you will, co-chair officially. Is that a co-chair?
That's right.
Let's go with that. So Chip, first of all, thanks for your support and thanks for being here and helping us drive the program. I'm just curious, you know, for you to take a full day to be here and kind of participate. Obviously, this is an area you're committed to. And I want to come back to that in a moment. But what are you sensing here today? What are you getting from the vibe from the audience as far as people getting this, the cynics, kind of the acceptance, the anxiety? What are you sensing?
It's all over the map. Definitely some cynics, but I applaud the cynics for coming, because the one thing they need to do is understand what this is, because it's not going to go away, and they can be cynical and have their head in the ground, do the ostrich thing, or they can embrace it. There are some believers, there are some wanna-believers, there are providers who are terrified, but who also see the opportunity to embrace this and change their cost structure in a dramatic way. And they can take some comfort in the fact that robotics has taken over the manufacturing industry, and we've already seen this movie one time before, and the world did not end. Jobs are different, labor content is different, there are other jobs that have emerged, but this is a wonderful thing, and you can sense the buzz. You've done a great job in putting this together. We're so delighted to be here. The buzz is extraordinary.
Oh, great. Well, again, we appreciate your support and your commitment to this space, right? So, you know, one of the things that someone brought up earlier today is when you think about, let's say, the traditional outsourcing or even IT services arena that you and I know, you would define, there'd be a buyer and there'd be a provider. As I look in the RPA space, there's really kind of two types of providers now. So you got the traditional folks, IBM, CSC, Wipro, HCL, but then you have the technology players, right? So it's really kind of two categories of providers that are both here, right? IPsoft, Arago, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere. They're here. So that's creating an interesting dynamic. How do you see that playing out as far as who's selling through to who? What is your sense? You think any of that's figured out yet?
Not totally figured out, but it's not totally dissimilar to what's happened with the cloud springing onto the scene, right? So you used to have the big iron players, IBM, what was EDS became HP, ACS became Xerox, big data center guys. Now if you go and you look at the Magic Quadrant in Gartner, or you would ask Phil First of HFS, show me who's in the infrastructure business, and look at a 2x2 matrix, CSC maybe still in there, IBM's not in there, who is it? It's Google. It's Amazon. It's mega data centers that on scale are 100, 200, 1,000 times what they were before. A whole new set of players. I think we're seeing that here. And what's going to happen, I think, is that all the players that bring the robotics to the table, they will either go to the providers and say, let me help you make your factory run better, or they'll go directly to the enterprises. And they'll do that through their own sales channels, through VAR arrangements, or through people that are advisory in the business. So I think we're going to see, we obviously already do see new technology players. They are going to supplant and carve out pieces of what has traditionally been the outsourcing service provider space, but the really clever sourcing provider will be doing it to himself.
Mm-hmm. So Chip, you're one of the few guys that I know out there that you know the old playbook, but you also know and embrace the new playbook, right? In fact, I would say you're one of those guys that are co-authoring the new playbook, right? How many others are you seeing out there? Part of what I wonder or maybe are concerned about is there's still a lot of old playbook out there, right? So here's a solution, and then maybe here's someone that's not ready for that solution. Is this going to boil down to people's willingness to accept a new game plan?
Absolutely, and you can either believe or you can get supplanted by somebody who does believe and somebody who brings the new game to the table. Without calling out any of the traditional outsourcing service providers, 10-year contracts that are multi-billion-dollar contracts, those were mega deals as they were called, and there's still a few of them signed every now and then, but they are increasingly rare. Those will be disaggregated and they will be broken into an ecosystem of unique and niche providers. There'll be a cloud provider, there'll be a SMAC provider, there'll now be a robotics provider. There has to, though, be someone sitting on top of it all, serving in that systems integration role and bringing the highest intellectual property to the table. There's still a great role for the traditional outsourcing service providers, but they're going to have to learn how to share. And the smartest thing they can do if they have one of these large legacy contracts is cannibalize their own deal, blow it up. Take robotics in there, take cloud in there, take SMAC in there, take all of these new capabilities, whether it's technology like an HP would have because they have their own technology, apply it to their own deals, and really, really blow their customers away. Bring imagination, bring innovation to the table. It's the #1 thing you hear about in legacy outsourcing is you promised innovation, you delivered none. This is incredibly innovative.
Right. Is it fair to say that you should do it before your competition comes in and does it for you, right?
Well, if you wait until the time that your enterprise customer is so frustrated that they feel they have to bring in competition, you've already lost.
At that point, it's too late.
Too late. It's much better to go a year before that and go in and say to your customer, I want to blow up this deal and I want to bring robotics, I want to bring SMAC, I want to bring cloud, I want to bring everything here. I want to modernize this deal that we have and I want to extend it a couple of years. I'm not going to get a 10-year extension, those things are done. But I want to do that now, so you don't want to disaggregate me and send me away, and you don't want to invite an Allsbridge in to help RFP and resource and go run a whole competitive process.
So with the minute we have left, Chip, what is your advice to the practitioners that may be viewing this video as if they don't fully get the robotic process automation thing? What's your word to the wise for them?
Put on your swimsuit and jump in the water and swim around. Go find out what it's all about. Go talk to people who have been out there doing it. There's some great case studies here at your own conference. Fantastic case studies. They may be early movers, but they're very illuminating and they're very illustrative of what can be done. There's a lot of choice here. It's not a simple, there's not 10 people doing the same thing. There's 10 people doing things differently, but in the general, they're after the same robotic process automation. So that'd be my advice. Jump in, learn, become an expert. If you study a subject for 5 minutes a day, in 5 years, you are a world expert.
Okay.
So do it. Study it. Study the subject. Make this your and become an expert because you'll be worth your weight in gold.
Great advice, and thanks for co-chairing today, Chip.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.